Okay, here I am outside ASPI in Tampa, Florida, and I'm coming back to do my second DEXA scan. As you know, I started this process of, I'm calling it a clinical study on myself for the frog. So I wanted to prove to everyone that this product actually works, and I wanted to prove to myself what is going to happen to my body. So we're going to go inside here, we're going to do a DEXA scan and see what the results are. So come on in. Okay, so here we are, got my man Cam, and Cam has kind of been following this process on Facebook and social media for a while, and you've seen me change over these last 60 days.
Absolutely.
So just visually, what are your thoughts as to my, experiment that I'm doing on the frog?
As far as just working out with only the frog exclusively, I think it's incredible the results you see. I mean, honestly, from last time I saw you, you look way more vascular, look incredibly lean, you got paper thin skin. But just watching your whole journey and process through this has been incredible. It's been really neat watching, especially listening to the diet you've been adhering to. You really, from what you've told me, you said that you haven't really been hammering your diet too hard. You've kind of just been eating how you want to eat, and the results you've seen are absolutely insane, man.
Yeah, so we'll find out. I guess numbers don't lie, right? So I have no clue what we're going to find out. I could be more for all I know. I really don't. So this is an experiment for me as much as it is to prove to everybody out there that I believe this product works. And functionally, I feel more sound as a human being operating on this earth and moving through space. I think that's important for us to understand as it relates to your fitness levels, right? I mean, you deal with athletes all the time, and people put too much emphasis on the aesthetics and not as much on the functionality, and you guys really focus on the functionality of humans, right?
Right, absolutely, 100%.
So that being said, I want you to realize that regardless of what these numbers are, whether they're good, bad, indifferent, the same, or if nothing's changed, functionally I feel more sound. Aesthetically, there's no doubt my body's changed. I mean, in 40 days during this process, I shot a cover of a magazine at 52 years old. So when I first started out, I was at 15% on this scan. Now, how does 15% relate to the average 52-year-old?
So your last scan, I believe, was 15.2%. 15% for a 52-year-old is absolutely incredible. We have a lot of athletes coming here, our football athletes. A lot of them aren't even that lean. As far as for general population, that's way off the charts. So that's incredible.
Okay. So I'm hoping, that I at least come down a few points, which would be progress. Again, this has only been 60 days that I've been doing this. I have not entered a gym and lifted a weight. I have not done 1 second of cardio as we know it on a treadmill, elliptical, VersaClimber. I've done none of that. I've only been on the frog for an average of about 15 minutes a day for the last 60 days, which averages out to a total of, 10 hours. Most people get 10 hours in a week in the gym, some in a few days. So 10 hours of total training. So here we go. This is it. We're about ready to go.
All right, Clark. So go ahead and lie down on your back. Take off any jewelry.
All right, so we're done here. We just got, Cam is going to take a look at the results of the scan. He asked me if I'm nervous. I am actually kind of a little bit nervous. It's weird. I never get nervous on doing anything, but I've invested so much of my energy in this and so much of my belief that I'm really hoping that the results are as good as I think. So we definitely want to make sure we get my weight too, to see if I lost any weight. So results are coming up. Hit this report, and we'll let Cam.
So I'm going to go ahead and include your rate of change in here too, so we'll be able to see exactly
Okay.
where you changed, how you changed.
It was interesting when I started this that most of the fat that I carried was in my android area, in the women, like in my ass. This is where most of my fat was, and not in the male area around the waist. I had a very small amount in both areas, but so this is going to be interesting to see if I was able to get rid of any of that. So for women who are watching this, it might be saying, is this good for my ass? Hopefully we'll see some kind of result right here.
All right. So what we're looking at here So your body fat percentage went from a 15.2 to a 13.8.
Okay.
So that is absolutely incredible. So there's a loss of 1.3% body fat. And your fat mass, your actual fat mass in your body, we saw a loss of, let's see here, about 3 pounds.
Wow.
And then we saw a gain in muscle mass. of
Really?
about
That's
2
no,
pounds.
that's interesting.
Yep. And then and
Well-
your total mass went down just a little bit. Your total mass stayed relatively the same actually. Yeah, so you only lost just a fraction of weight, but obviously that came from just fat mass.
Right.
What so what's the muscle mass?
Yeah, so let's get those numbers very clearly so everyone can hear them on here, what the changes were.
All right,
Because
so
again, no weights, no cardio, okay? And 75% compliant on my diet, 15 minutes a day on the frog for an average of 5 days a week. So,
So this gives everything in grams. So let me give it to you in pounds. So you lost your fat mass went down by 2.5 pounds, and then your lean mass increased by for whenever we do research studies, we use grams
right.
instead of kilograms or pounds, just to give us a more exact number. So whenever we have to convert it, it's going to be and then you gained 2 pounds of muscle.
Very interesting.
So lost 2 pounds of fat, gained 2 pounds of muscle in 60 days on this. So, Cam, how are those results as it relates to just in general? So if someone did a weight training program and a
Right.
diet for 60 days and they came in here, would that be a good result for them?
So if so say we prescribed you 15 minutes of the frog, and we gave you a diet to adhere to, which, and if you're honest with us, logged your food, and your data was about 75% adherence to it, I would say that is incredible, especially with the amount of time that you've spent working out. Your workout hours, what you said, 10 hours total?
10 hours total.
That is absolutely ridiculous. We have people that spend hours in the gym and they don't even see results like this. We have professional bodybuilders that come in here and adhere to a strict diet, and what we'll actually see is because of the diet, we'll see a reduce in muscle mass.
Really?
Yeah, even if they're beating themselves up in the gym every day.
So I lost no muscle mass.
You gain muscle mass and you lost fat mass. That is the perfect, ideal change in body composition.
Did you all hear that right now? The perfect, ideal change in body composition. How many of you want to hear that? And how many of you would want to do that? This is not a bullshit statement. 15 minutes a day. You can't go any longer than that on the frog.
Cam, would you compare that to something like what a sprinter would sort of?
We see our sprinters that come in here are extremely lean. But even if they were to, their workouts are longer than 15 minutes, and they don't
True.
see results like that.
It's true. It's true.
So, for you to work out 15 minutes a day, obviously this wasn't your full-time job, just working on the frog. This was part of your lifestyle, you implemented in your lifestyle, and you wanted to see what you believed in, if it worked or not.
Yeah.
And obviously those beliefs held true, according to what I'm looking at here.
Numbers don't lie, man. You know, and I flew all the way down here to Tampa to come to the same facility with the same people on the same scan to get the actual results that are, you know, accurate as best as I can say. So this, in my opinion, is a clinical study on me, right? I'm in a clinic.
Absolutely.
We study whether or not. So, yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked. I don't know what else to say, honestly.
I don't either. But let me recap. 10 hours, 60 days?
Yeah, so 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week average. I didn't train every day. I took days off. I didn't become obsessed with this thing.
Right.
I love this product. I'm obsessed with it, but I wasn't obsessed by training on it. So I wanted it to relate to the average person. And the average person physically couldn't go longer than 15 minutes. And those 15 minutes, mind you, were not at one time. They may have been 5 minutes here, 5 minutes in the evening, so a little bit here, a little bit there. You know, it's doable. This is what I'm saying. It's completely doable.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you one other question. Clark, have you done the Wingate?
I've done the Wingate.
Okay, so neurologically,
Neurologically, it's
Kind of
it's the
similar.
only thing close to the Wingate that you can get. If you go across a football field, if you can make it 100 yards on the frog, and you go after it, when you get off, you'll have the same like 4-step process. Complete, absolute wanting to puke. You're like holding it back. Then you're searching every ounce of your lungs for oxygen, and then you just get like exhausted and tired, and then you get hungry and you start consuming nutrients to feed your body back what it's asking for, you know. And being on that Wingate is if you've never done it before, it's like nothing you've ever done in your life. But yeah, this is the closest thing to that, and I'm just stoked, man. I'm stoked that we did this. I want to do a Facebook Live right now and have everyone hear you see these results.
We can do that.
Okay, so we're gonna go Facebook Live now, so the world can see, or at least 1 or 2 people to jump on my thing.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna add something to this video. I asked them about my bone mass density. Go ahead.
So bone mineral density. So you got your T-score and your Z-score. They're both markers that kind of show us where you stand at with your bone health. So we actually saw an increase in your T-score. You went from 0.8 all the way up to a 1.2, and it's really that's kind of surprising to me. Just because I do a lot of these all day long. This is what I do, and a lot of times we'll see a decrease whenever. Would you say the frog's more cardio based?
It's kind of anaerobic, but you get cardio too. I don't know. It's a combination of both. It's really an interesting deal.
It would be hard not to say.
So really, like
Yeah. Oh, it's very aerobic, but it's also anaerobic because it just sucks you dry of oxygen.
Right. So whenever we see like cardio-based exercise interventions with diet restriction, with caloric restriction, we'll actually see a decrease. The only way to really increase it, there's a number of ways you can do it, but is loading the spine. So structural exercises, anything where you're loading the spine, putting pressure on. I mean, you're gonna break down, you're gonna build it back up even stronger. So
That is huge right there. I got to stop on that right there because that is the issue with fitness is most people, when they're loading their spine, that's where the problems come in with joints and all of that sort of thing if they're not doing it the proper way. There's no load on the spine whatsoever with the frog because, one, you're horizontal and you're not putting anything on your shoulders.
Yeah. So that's very interesting to me, that the fact that it increased that much. Yeah, and a lot of people they worry about structural exercise because, just like you said, they worry about getting injured, and a lot of that can be due to not having proper form, not exercising correctly,
Lifting too much.
lifting too much. But yeah, for years it increased this much with the frog. That's phenomenal.
Man, that's good stuff.